Ubisoft have quietly released another title in the Prince of Persia franchise, subtitled The Lost Crown. The game is a side-scrolling 2.5D action platformer which has been released on all major consoles. To date, a PC release has not yet been announced, though it will surely happen. This time around, the game focuses on the dual-wielding protagonist named Sargon, who forms part of a group of warriors named the Immortals. After a short introductory section in the game where you are tasked with quelling the Kushan invasion, the main story kicks off with Prince Hassan being kidnapped by one of Sargon's mentors, General Anahita. You have to travel with your comrades to the citadel on Mount Kaf to rescue Prince Hassan and defeat Anahita. Though my usual pessimism can't help but wonder that one of the Immortals might betray you as well. Side note, I called it. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is presented in 2.5D as a side-scrolling action platformer. This pays homage to the original Prince of Persia game while updating it for a modern audience. Sargon still retains the acrobatic moves and combat mechanics made popular by the Sands of Time series, and even includes the time elements as part of its game mechanics. While Sargon's style is more appropriate for aggressive attacking, he is equipped with both a slide and a deflect for defensive reasons. The deflect can parry normal and rush attacks, the latter of which is marked by a yellow indicator above an enemy before they launch the attack. One criticism though is that the deflect itself feels very delayed and somewhat iffy to pull off. When it is successful, it can pull off a counter attack which either defeats an enemy completely or eliminates a decent chunk of their health bar. This is especially helpful when fighting the boss battles. Speaking of the boss battles, these are presented almost like an anime style action sequence, which I absolutely love. And I mean, to give you an example, each and every boss has their own particular theme. My favorite thus far in the game, after more than 15 hours, is this one. It is just an awesome soundtrack. Nevertheless, I found myself relying on the slide as it seems to be successful against most attacks early game and allows you to reposition yourself behind an enemy. This is especially helpful against shielded enemies who you need to attack from behind. Sargon's attacks are built around chaining his strikes, with the most basic being a 1-2-3 combo. This can be extended by launching the enemy into the air and completing a mid-air attack combo, which you can then finish with a downward strike to the ground. This combat style is taken from the Sands of Time series, which was even more prevalent in the Warrior Within game, and even includes a forward dash, which is helpful both in platforming and during combat as a combo extender or recovery from a heavy attack. Over and above the standard combat, you build up a meter to launch a powerful attack when full. You can allow this to build up in levels, which then allows you to utilize other skills depending on your situation in and out of combat. The first level power attack launches Sargon into a powerful forward strike, which can take out 3 enemies in one go or reduce a boss enemy's health bar by a small margin. It also grants an invulnerability frame, which can save you if you're surrounded by a few enemies. You can acquire more abilities as you progress through the game. When in the Citadel, one of your Immortals will act as a combat training coach where you can learn and practice different maneuvers and then be awarded time crystals for the completion of each. These time crystals act as in-game currency to be spent at vendors at the Citadel, the first of which is located next to a Wak Wak tree, although I have come to nickname it a Waka Waka tree. These Wak Wak trees are waypoints for you to replenish your health and potions and to renew your amulet energies. It also acts as a save point, and you can reassign your newly acquired amulets, which will further enhance Sargon's survivability. The number of amulets is limited, so you will have to be thoughtful with your choices even as you acquire more space through the course of the game. The Citadel and its surroundings appear to be quite vast, so the game allows you to explore and to revisit areas at a later point in time. To aid this, you have access to a map for each area so that you can place waypoints and an in-game mechanic where you can take snapshots of interesting locations to revisit. There are also a number of secret or inaccessible areas early game which you can then attempt to access later once you have secured additional skills. I found that movement flowed easily and working out traversal of a given level felt very intuitive. That being said, late game, the traps and the way the levels are built proves particularly tricky, and you might find yourself running through a particular section at least more than 3 times because you might end up just falling into a trap. My favorite skill thus far is the crystallization mechanic, where you can freeze a position beyond a point and then rewind to it. You can use this in combat as well to double up on your power strikes. There are a number of puzzle sections in stage as well, as previously mentioned, which become easier to solve once you have more abilities at your disposal. But I suspect the developer had this in mind because, stand corrected, it actually becomes more tricky as you progress through the game. Objectives are marked on the map, but this can be turned off at the start of the game to allow you to discover things for yourself. This might seem daunting, but it is also rather welcoming for the curious players because you do not have to keep consulting the map to figure out where you need to go to next. I feel that the point of the levels is to explore and to get lost. This fits in with the theme of the Citadel being a place lost in time. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is a welcome addition to the franchise. It has an engaging story, beautiful art style, and engaging gameplay. The cutscenes reminded me of Hades in its presentation, and the boss fights and overall aesthetic is fairly reminiscent of Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night, as well as anime. And it also reminds me of the original God of War series. The game is not looking to break new ground and is instead a solid product providing you with what you expect. Would I recommend buying it right away given that the price is so high? Yes, I would. I've sunk more than 14 hours in the game thus far, and there's still plenty to do and to discover. The entire map becomes more vast to explore, which is made easier by the several fast travel points dotted around the map, as well as the whack-whack trees, which are your save points. You'll find exploration and play very rewarding, especially when you encounter and defeat the main story and minor bosses at every turn. Revealing more of the map just encourages you to keep going, and I found myself playing into the early hours of the morning.